Hi, I'm Laura.
And I'm Paul. And this is The Truth About.
Confusion filled sea of doubt. It's time to hear the truth about. Confusion filled sea of doubt. It's time to hear the truth about.
Ego.
Now, we are going to talk about something that I think a lot of people have, but don't like to admit they've got.
Well, it's kind of one of those things which is important, isn't it? Or not as important as we think it is, or I don't know.
Do we need ego in our lives?
I've struggled with this
Yeah.
a lot.
I do think there is a fine line between ego and confidence.
Yeah. So essentially, I read a book, Laura, which is Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. So it's quite an interesting book. It's an interesting concept, which is probably why I bought it, because it's called Ego is the Enemy. But yeah, actions speak louder than words. But if that's true, why do we love to feel popular or get praise from others, even for things we haven't done? You know what I mean? So it's like, ego is a tricky one. I mean, I feel like I've got a lot of ego.
Yeah, especially whilst driving.
Oh yeah, driving.
It's like you've been emasculated,
Yeah.
where you feel like if another man speeds up
Yeah,
and
totally.
gets faster than you, then
Yeah.
you feel as if that you have, and it's like, why?
Well, it must be some kind of physiology caveman thing, mustn't it? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think that it might just be you just don't want someone acting as if they're better than you.
I've got a major problem with that anyway.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and
Like,
I think that's where
people
ego.
that talk down to you or think they're better than you know what I mean? I hate that because
Yeah.
everyone should be the same.
Yeah, they should, but they're not. Some people desire more, or deserve, should I say, more praise.
Yeah.
For what they do.
Yeah.
So have a right to have some ego, but at the same time, I think being humble and modest is a lot more attractive than someone who knows how good they are.
But you
openly.
Okay, Laura, you look really nice today, by the way.
And usually I go, do I?
Yeah. Yeah. But you love to hear that.
Yes. It's nice to hear.
Your brain is just telling you that anyway. Or like, I'll tell you what, Laura, you're actually really good at that.
Yeah, but the thing is, if I wanted constant praise, I would continuously do something in order to get it. Or I would expect it.
That's what a lot of us are doing, though. I mean, I would say my whole musical thing of like from 12 years old of first starting to play guitar to God knows when, but I'm searching for something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's approval.
I'm playing for myself.
Yeah.
You know, I want to get better. I'm enjoying it, hence why all the hours of practice have gone into it.
Yeah.
But at the point of when someone goes, wow, that was really good.
But the thing is, I could go, wow, and that might mean nothing to you. And then, Mick Jagger could go, wow, and that would mean more to you. But then it's like, where does it end?
It doesn't.
Because someone else might go, not that great.
Hence why Ryan Holiday said ego is the enemy.
And then you could be like, well, in your head, you're like, well, so Mick Jagger, okay, Mick Jagger's compliment means nothing to me because someone who's more famous or more successful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, ego, I think, is an enemy because I think it really does hinder other personal traits of yours. Not you directly.
No. But yeah.
But yeah, it can kind of make you cocky.
Yeah.
Entitled.
Yeah.
Arrogant.
But okay, this is like a therapy session, really. But it's also like I feel ego's got me through a lot.
An example?
Okay, so I think with a lot of people, like fame and all that kind of stuff, I think ego does drive you to keep doing stuff. And a lot of times, like within business and stuff, I don't want someone to be better than me.
No, and it does.
So it's like some kind of competition thing. So it's like I will not stop until
you've done something.
I'm as good as I can be. But
the
truth is, I'm never happy with that.
No, and I think, I mean, for example, sometimes like even when we're doing these recordings and we're talking to people, do you sometimes feel as if that you need to talk about your your music career that you had, and things like that, to make it feel as if that you have accomplished something.
Yeah, totally. Because that's obviously like a huge part of my life. But then again, I don't really want to go too much into detail about it.
But then sometimes I wonder if that's your ego more, because they're bound to ask questions. Like you said, I play guitar.
Yeah.
People go, who with? And you're like, no, I'm not going to talk about it. But I feel as if that you love it. Otherwise, why would you have brought it up? Is it like a subconscious thing that your ego is like, give him a little bit, but not all of it? And then there's that mystery to you.
It's kind of that thing of like, all of the people I've met to a high standard or have worked in a large professional way, they don't really talk about stuff. So I've learned that to go, well, that's just the thing.
Well, this is the thing.
Whereas people that haven't done that much
when I
talk
first
a lot.
met you, I had no idea.
No.
I think it was only like about 6 months into the relationship, I started getting little bits of information.
Yeah.
Still now you say, and a part of me is like, I don't believe, because you're very good at over-exaggerating.
Yeah.
But I know that there's sometimes when you've told a story once,
it's so...
If you were over-exaggerating, it would change, and you do keep up with it. So I do know you're telling the truth.
Yeah, but the problem is, it is... do you remember that guy who tested me out? Was like, oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
Abbey
Hard
Road.
Rock Cafe.
Yeah, he was like, oh, yeah, Abbey Road, yeah. So what actually... And that's the scary thing as well within music, because everyone does know everyone.
Yeah.
Like, at a certain place. So people will just like, oh, yeah. So who was that, by the way? Or, yeah, what was this? And then, like, you'll soon get called out.
It's the funniest thing, because I was stood there going, oh God, the guy's asking him questions. He's going to know more than Paul. He works on the Hard Rock Cafe Museum in London, which is also really, really good. And he knew his stuff.
Yeah.
And he asked a question. It was just me, Paul, and a couple of friends.
Yeah.
The friends, no offense to them, didn't know anything about what was going on.
Music, no.
Neither did I.
No.
Roughly, just from what I've learned from Paul. And then Paul started spewing out all of this information. I was like, oh my God. I found it really attractive.
Ego.
Ego. But then at the same time, I know you weren't doing it for ego. You were genuinely having a conversation with this guy. And that's what felt natural.
But that's my biggest problem. I would love for everyone just to throw away the ego and me just play guitar with someone else who also loves it as much as I do.
Yeah.
And that's what you kind of find.
Well, this is why I think it's been good that you've been doing a lot of the music stuff for yourself, because you've been realising that your passion for it doesn't come from other people's acceptance. It comes from a genuine love for writing and playing music.
Hello, dogs. but yeah, kind of going into it, I think the thing with ego as a whole is like, I kind of find it sad that I think ego kills a lot of stuff, like comedy, and just like musicians and all this kind of stuff. You see so much. Well, I've seen so much of it, and everyone's seen enough of it, hopefully. But it's like, oh, that person's changed, and even when they haven't changed, everyone thinks they've changed because everyone around them is acting differently towards them because of some sort of status I can't get my words out. Status adjustment. Yeah.
Because then they immediately feel as if they have to act differently.
But and you that need it though.
What, need people? What, ego, or need people to change based on who you are?
It's difficult. I think you need the ego to keep driving it.
I think if Hollywood films have taught me anything, is that when people become famous, they become unhappy.
Yeah.
But
I think that's because they just can't do what they want to do.
And I think they can't do that purely because of how people treat them, or they can do too much, and that often leads people getting in trouble. Like ego, as I said, it gives people it makes them feel as if they have a right to do more.
Yeah.
Because they become big-headed about something.
Let's think about this, right? The first album is relatively pretty hard, right? To create, let's say, right? So, but you tend to think that the first album for most bands is like the best album. That's kind of a given, really.
Yeah.
Like in most of the things. But usually it's because they've obviously had all the time to do it. They've had their own time. They usually come from nothing and all this kind of stuff. Then they release this album, then they get their critical acclaim or whatever. The second album is like the hardest because they've now got all of that fame. They've got, the certain elements of whatever. And then it's now like, damn, is anyone actually going to like this as much as the first album? Shall I carry on writing the same? Shall I totally mix it up? That's how I think of Ego to some extent.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it's the same when, again, talking about when I was doing blogging and using Instagram, publicly and using it for aesthetic purposes, as opposed to personal fun purposes.
Yeah.
You do start going, well, what are people liking?
Yeah.
And you get the 1,000 followers and your ego goes up because you're like, cool.
Yeah.
And, there was one point I had 12,000 followers and I was like, I am a star now.
Superstar.
I really wasn't. But it felt like I was, especially in terms of trying to get collaborations with brands, I felt like I was more entitled because I had that. And then, I would look at others and go, okay, my ego doesn't belong here, because there's people out there who are doing a lot more work that are genuinely passionate about this. And here I am just having intruder syndrome.
Imposter syndrome.
That's the word. Imposter syndrome.
That's exactly what I was thinking as well. Yeah, you think there's Hayley Williams and stuff suffers from that, imposter syndrome, and a lot of huge huge stars and stuff actually suffer from that. I don't
ego.
deserve this. I don't deserve being here.
And
I don't deserve all this stuff people saying about me.
And that is the opposite to having ego, because you can go into something with full ego, this is really amazing. And then as soon as you're thrown out of your comfort zone and you're like, wait, this isn't what it was like in the beginning. It's the same with being in a relationship, perhaps. You're with someone who can build up your ego. They're buying you flowers every week, or
saying you look good,
going shopping, telling you that you look amazing all the time. Then that dies down, and you start to doubt,
wonder
your confidence.
What's the key?
Exactly, and it's I'm not sure if that's really classed as ego, but
ego's a part of it.
Yeah, I think it is, because you're just no, I am, and in a way, everyone does deserve to have a bit of ego to go, I am deserving of this. And I am good at what I do.
That's kind of what I'm saying to you, though, because it's you do need a certain amount of ego to, for example, if I didn't have any ego, I don't know, I don't think I would be successful. I don't know. But, no, but you know what I mean? Maybe it's confidence, it's cockiness or whatever, but it's whatever I want to do, I have to be the best of it. I know I'm never going to be the best at it.
And this is the thing, because I've sometimes have found, this is couples therapy now, but I have sometimes found your ego sometimes can cloud your senses and your judgment.
Totally.
And I sometimes just go, I do not find this attractive at all in you. I actually find it really off-putting.
Yeah.
And it's because
I get that.
You completely ignore anyone else's opinion. And this is just anyone with a large ego anyway.
Yeah.
Completely ignore anyone else's opinion, because you feel at that time that your opinion is the only thing that matters. And it's it just comes up. It's not... Ego isn't always there.
No.
It just... Something switches on and it's cool.
The hardest thing is the vision. I mean... That's the kind of thing for me where I go, right, this would be a great idea. The thing is, it's like anything, within music, within whatever, an idea, a creative idea or whatever. For me personally, I see it as right, I totally want this thing. I see it totally made. I see everything about it. It has to be done perfect. And then the problem is I just won't stop until I get it there. It will never be perfect. It will never be done. But it's you get it to that standard of going, right, I'm relatively happy with that.
Have you ever had your ego shattered?
Ego shattered? Oh, man. Yeah. There's been certain times where I've been outplayed or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or that kind of thing. But the problem is with me as a person is, I'm not going to go too much into the thing, but there was a time with guitar and stuff, maybe an audition I didn't get or something like that, where someone really did outshine me, that kind of thing. And it was a rubbish thing. It's like a boxer losing a fight. You know what I mean? You've worked all your hard in your life up until this point.
But at the end of the day, someone has to
lose.
Yeah.
But it's that thing of like, and the hardest thing is, because of ego, you're kind of on the tight wire of, am I actually good at this?
That's the thing, imposter syndrome, isn't it?
I feel like I was good until this point, and now someone's actually proved that I might not be that great at that point. But you know what I did though?
What?
I went home, man, and I just worked. You know what I mean? And then it come to meeting that person again, and the subtle, humble, all this kind of stuff. But when it comes to like playing again, was like that person got to a point of going, I think it was a show or something like that, and that person was like, oh my god, that was like the best.
See,
and then it's like, now I'm back on it.
This is one of the things that I do. It's a love-hate thing. I find with your ego. And
totally.
it's that you are very, very, very driven, and a lot of people with egos are, and they're very hardworking, very determined. But they also do not take into consideration anything else that's around them until they reach that goal to satisfy them. And that can be a very negative thing.
Not comparing myself to that person, but when we watched that David Foster documentary recently, that really made sense to me.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it kind of makes me more aware of going, okay, well, you need to balance it out a bit.
Yeah.
Like,
and that
your family
is hard.
are quite important at times.
Yeah, just a little bit, being a dad and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is all about balance and trying to get giving your egos something to work on, your confidence something to go along with, without destroying your relationships at the same time with arrogance and cockiness.
Well, let's go into this a little bit then, Laura. Like the whole, fake it till you make it. So, like, okay, a world that you're aware of from the blogging perspective and stuff. Even though there probably is going to be another episode coming up very soon about influencing and influencers. But the whole fake it till you make it. Obviously, I'm made aware that a lot of these bloggers and stuff are spending the money out on Chanel and all this kind of stuff. They're not being gifted it.
No.
They're pretending and they're atting,
and
whoever.
As I have mentioned in a previous episode, it is so easy to do that. And I think this was about truth we were talking about. And how things can be misconstrued. And it is, fake it till you make it is partly an ego thing, trying to use what you had to get further in something that you want to be, because you feel like you deserve it and you work hard for it, but it's about getting spotted, so and noticed for it, and that's all it is really about, getting attention, having an audience, having people talk to you and do it in a positive way. And sometimes it's about being paid for it. People like to be paid for being themselves, and sometimes having to exploit that, and a lot of it does come down to their ego. And I think especially and as you say, we're going to talk about it, but another episode, but with influencers and things like that, when you go back in time and have a look, some of them are so humble, and then as time's gone on, okay, they may be busier because they've got more opportunities and work to do.
Got teams now.
But they've got team that we at my name. We at Laura Saxby. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. But, they have teams of people that work for them. And some of them really do forget that there was a point where they were literally like trying to subtly beg for products, like, really need a sofa at DFS. It would be nice if we all got gifted our homes, but and that's the thing. There's this ego. Once you get one small thing, you're like, cool, what else can I get now?
Let's have a little break and then we'll come back to it. Be sure to check out Truth About blog at truthabout.co.uk. Yeah, that was a really interesting point, actually, Laura, and that was a recent thing which happened with, obviously we're into basketball and the NBA and all that kind of stuff, but those basketball guys or whatever, because of coronavirus and all that kind of stuff, are now staying in hotels. And I have not a major opinion on that or whatever, but the thing that I was fascinated about was obviously they created, they're writing Twitters about it, and they were tweeting about it, and they're doing Instagram stories about like, oh my God, look how hard done by we are doing or whatever. Look at our lunch, it's like Fire Festival or something, a piece of cheese, and they're like pro athletes, and they obviously have nutritionists and all these crazy diets and all that kind of stuff to because they need to perform, and that's an important integral part, isn't it? Protein and all this kind of stuff. But that was fascinating though, wasn't it? Of like
you talk about that, and I see that as very little. I think that's more entitlement than ego. It should be tattooed on Michael Jordan's head, because he a wonderful player, a great man, but he has always been so full of ego. But that got him.
Made him.
That got him where, and
Man, I love
every
it.
time.
I'm glad he's got it.
Every time, what was it? The Last Dance documentary on Netflix. Watch
Worth
it,
watching.
and then you'll see what ego
Even if you're
looks
into
like.
basketball, just watch it.
Yeah, honestly,
it's a documentary about life, isn't it?
Yeah, and about ego.
Yeah,
and what you can achieve. Simply by pushing yourself. Michael Jordan completely demonstrates that. Someone made the smallest little jokey comment, and that was it.
Yeah.
Everything changed.
Oh, totally.
And even when he...
made him win the game, though.
Yeah, and when he changed his number when he came back from retiring, someone said, oh, whatever number isn't 23, his old number. And then he was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm 23 again.
And then guess what? He
got a winning streak. And
okay, so but that's the thing. Like, it's not the enemy then, as well. Yeah,
but he also does show that there's a downfall.
Yeah,
like. I'm obviously not going to go into it, but it is also his downfall. No. And I think it can ruin your health. It can ruin, your relationships with people. Yeah. Because, a lot of the players he played with are like, he was hard work. Yeah. And sometimes you can be very lonely. It might get you to where you want to be, but, if you push everyone away to get to where you want to be, you're going to end up a very lonely person. And guess what? No one's going to be giving you praise then.
No, and this is the real thing that, like, I would say within times of my life, especially my musical life, which most of my life is, but it was like you really start to believe it. That's the downfall, and unless you've got people around you that go, you know what, you're becoming a bit of a dick lately. You know what I mean? Or like,
oh, so we can use the term dick. That's fine.
Yeah. You were being a bit of a dick lately. You know what I mean? Or like that was a bit of a dick thing. I mean, I totally remember it. Like I was gigging around London, and we had such cult success, which I always wanted. I never wanted like huge mainstream success or whatever. But as a band, you know what I mean? For people to go, dude, that second lick that you did in that guitar solo and whatever was like, yeah, man, it was cool. Yeah, I'm glad you're appreciating that.
I think for someone, obviously, and this, no offense, but I kind of find all of that a little bit. I cringe a little bit when people do give. I don't know, when people do try and increase the ego, because I feel as if they are trying to, they're thinking,
yes,
if I can boost your ego, you're going to keep me close. Yeah. Because everyone loves their ego being massaged.
But you fall into that though. And that's the thing. Like, for example, if you said a nice comment to me right now, the first thing I'm going to think is, it's going to boost my endorphins, and then it's going to be,
what do you want?
And then I'm going to think about it. Yeah.
And again, going back to influencers and bloggers and Instagrammers and things like that, a lot of people tend to go, right, if I can connect with this person, if we can build an online relationship, where can that lead me? Yeah. And a lot of people are clicking with that. Yeah. And again, they end up becoming very lonely because they don't know who they can and can't trust, because people are there trying to massage their ego. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. That is where it is the enemy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like that. Yeah, that's the negative part of it. But I still do think there is a positive part. There's a positive role to play of ego. I think if there was zero ego, we wouldn't have had some of our favourite celebrities of all time become celebrities.
No, or create the art that they clearly are very good at. Yeah. So as I said, there is a fine line between having confidence and being egotistical.
Yeah.
No one likes loudmouth people that are always...
Unless they can follow through with it.
This is coming from someone I deem to be very egotistical. But
But this is the thing with the Michael Jordan thing. I'm thinking, damn, though, he can be.
yeah, yes.
You don't need friends. Like, you don't, honestly, you don't need friends. You're Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like,
He's got friends.
No. Exactly. He's got friends anyway. But it's, I don't know. I love that driving force.
I know. See, this is, I wouldn't say I've got that much ego. To be honest, I'm just like...
I'm trying to boost up your ego. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
I just don't...
Don't take that.
That's not ego.
You're better than that.
That's confidence.
I don't know.
Ego, I think ego is just always, talking.
It's that self-belief.
It sounds like I'm just talking about you. It's talking about their accomplishments. And
no, it's like self-belief, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still the best guitar player there is.
See, no. You know
what I mean?
Yeah.
I can still outplay anyone. Come on. Come at me, bro. You know what I mean?
All right.
No, but is that ego? Or
yes.
is that...
No, that is ego. That's you being cocky little...
Yeah. It's not true, though.
Yeah, but some people would say that it makes it sound like... Because you do talk about your music a lot, and that's absolutely fine. That's what you know. That's your personal experience, and it's been a part of your life for, a good 20-odd years.
Yeah.
But the thing is, at the same time, people go, here he goes with his war stories again. It's
man.
like Uncle Albert.
See, no, and this was the thing. Like, early on, someone said to me, "Be nice to him on the way up because you're going to meet him on the way down," and that was the thing, and I did. And then, and then, like, there was always the joke of, "Oh yeah, that guy in the music shop." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who's like always like talks about, "Oh yeah, there's a time I played with Bryan Adams back in," and you go, "Really? Who cares?" You know what I mean?
Or really, I don't believe you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of that.
Show me the receipts.
Yeah. But anyway, what have we really gained from this episode?
That
ego is good.
Paul would say ego is good. I would say ego. It's the same with everything. Everything in moderation. It's good to have a slight ego because it helps build your confidence, but you have to be very aware of it.
Okay, what's the best compliment you've ever got?
Mummy, I love you. I don't know. When we got married and you said, "Do you scrub up well?" That was the first thing you said to me when we sat down.
Setting levels high.
I know. That's it. We had a nice engagement, and then that was it. We were married. No more Mr. Nice Paul.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
I don't know. It's nice when I get compliments. It's mainly for stuff that I've done, either in my work or when I was blogging. People, random friends would say, I read this and it was really, really good. And I'd be like,
you read that?
Yeah. And that would shock me and make me feel really, really good.
Yeah.
I paused it for a while because I want a little break from it. But it's stuff like that that makes you go, maybe I should get back into that.
Yeah.
But then you wonder where you could focus that energy on something else. And I think that does make my my ego have a little bit of a spark.
I think like kind of what we said about before, but that was the thing that I've learned recently, which is quite a big thing of actually like, I don't need to get the ego fulfillment in order to do the things in which I love. You know what I mean?
And that's been the same for me. Like I'm trying to do new things for myself, not for acceptance of anybody else. I'm also not putting so much online. I talk a lot online, and I'm very, very open. But I'm trying to hold back a bit because I'm starting to believe that if you keep your goals to yourself, it's better. There's a better chance of you achieving them. And then you don't feel as if you're letting yourself down.
And also let your work speak for itself.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm trying, there's things I'm trying to do for my body, for my mental health.
Yeah.
And we've had this thing where I've been going, right, I'm going to eat whatever I like.
Yeah.
And then I got to the point where I was like, oh my God, I have 4 days of takeaway and I'm regretting it. And then, although usually in the past I've said, Paul, don't let me eat that. This time I haven't.
No.
And it's because I'm trying to do
Pressure.
this for me. And I've said to you, you know what? If I relapse and I go and eat a burger, then that's on me.
Yeah.
And that will be me destroying my ego a bit, you know?
Yeah,
and it's me
there's
who's...
a lot of that.
I'm either going to go away feeling satisfied and be like, that was fine. Or I'm going to let myself down. And what would I rather have? And this is the thing with ego in general. You know, you can think, I can push myself, I can do this, and then sometimes you are let down, or you've let yourself down in some way, or you know, and then you go, all that work that I've put into something to build up.
Ego is the enemy. Maybe it is.
See, you're in two minds about it now, aren't you?
It is a big question.
It is a big question.
And that's the thing. Definitely let us know. Let us know what you think. I mean,
Yeah, do you have a big
is it something
ego?
you ever thought about? I think it's important to think about it.
Yeah, I've never thought about it. Today was
Because-
the first time talking about it.
Yeah, because like there's ways that I deal with it, like mindfulness and things. You know, if someone undercuts me or overtakes me in a car, I just think, well, I don't know what they're going through. I hope.
Or me reminding you that
I hope
you're not the
they're
only
okay.
person in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think kids are a good one. Like that really, that really lowers.
Yeah. Oh, my ego
Reality check.
my ego and
Reality
dignity
check.
went the day that I gave birth.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I think that was a good topic. Come on, Laura. How can the people follow us?
So follow us through at TruthsPod on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
And be sure to subscribe on all the latest podcasting tools such as Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you.
Adios.
Confusion filled sea of doubt. It's time to hear the truth about confusion filled sea of doubt. It's time to hear the truth